Hello everyone, my name is Gavin and this is the Orthodox Heathen, the channel where we take a look at and answer questions from the lore. Today's topic is a matter of debate in the heathen community today, and as a disclaimer, this video is not meant to settle that debate, but rather to examine that debate from a perspective of the lore. And that debate is the nature of the gods. Are the gods omnipotent? Are they omniscient? Are they omnipresent? Or not? First, let's take a look at Odin and the Hlidskjalf. The Hlidskjalf is a throne inside the Valaskjalf, presumably in Asgard. So the Hlidskjalf is a throne where Odin goes to sit and look upon the 9 worlds. We can see that this throne is the mechanism for which Odin looks upon the 9 worlds, in seeing how it is also used by Frigg in the prose section of the Grimnismal and Frey in the prose section of the Forskirnis. So clearly, the gods are not capable of looking out among the 9 realms by themselves, but rather require the use of this Hlidskjalf, this throne, in which to look out to the 9 worlds with. Another point that would seem to suggest that the gods are not omniscient or omnipresent is Odin's use of Hugin and Munin, which we can see in chapter 38 of the Gylfaginning. 2 ravens sit on Odin's shoulders, and into his ears they tell all the news they see or hear. Their names are Hugin and Munin. At sunrise he sends them off to fly throughout the whole world, and they return in time for the first meal. Thus he gathers knowledge about many things that are happening, and so people call him the Raven God. As is said in stanza 20 of the Lay of Grimnir, Hugin and Munin fly each day over the whole world. I fear for Hugin that he may not return, but I worry more for Munin. So here we can see that Odin uses Hugin and Munin to gather information from Midgard. This would seem to say that he is not omnipresent or omniscient, because if he were omnipresent or omniscient, he wouldn't need Hugin and Munin, and he wouldn't need the Hlidskjalf if he were capable of being everywhere at once or knowing everything at once. But what about omnipotent? How much power do the gods really have? Well, we can take a look at that in the form of fate itself. The gods are tied to fate. Ragnarok is the fate of the gods in the end of our world, and the gods are just as beholden to that as we are, and that would mean that the gods are not omnipotent. We can also see another example of the gods not being omnipotent in the Thrymskvida. Thor is bereft of his hammer, and therefore enabled to slay the giants who stole that hammer, which he does at the end of the Thrymskvida. But the fact that Thor lacks Mjolnir means he lacks the power to kill the giants, as he cannot do so barehanded. We can see this hammer in full swing in the story of Thor and Utgarloki, where Thor attempts to kill Skrimir several times during the first section of the poem. And so we can see that Thor is not capable of killing a giant with his bare hands, but rather uses his hammer as the mechanism for which he slays giants. And so we can see here that the gods are not omniscient. They are not capable of knowing everything because they have to seek out and learn information as opposed to just innately knowing all of it. They are not omnipotent because they require items of augmentation in order to perform certain tasks. And they are not omnipotent because they are bound to fate. Now, some people would say then, well, how then do we interact with the gods? Are they listening? Can they be listening? We can see in the Saga of the Volsungs that Reyr sends prayers to the gods for a child. Now Reyr took much booty for himself as well as the woman he thought most suitable for him. Although they lived together with intimacy for a long time, they had neither heir nor child. That lack displeased them both, and they fervently implored the gods that they might have a child. It is said that Frigg heard their prayers and told Odin what they had asked. So here we can see that the gods are able to listen to prayers, they're able to focus their attention. And so yes, the gods can hear our prayers, it's just a matter of whether or not they're listening. And we can know that the gods are able to see our actions through the use of the Hlidskjalf, which, as I mentioned, Odin and Frigg do in the Grimnismal. So in conclusion, taking a look at the lore by taking a look at the depictions of the gods in poems like the Grimnismal, the Vafthrudnismal, the Forskirnis, and the poems that are expounded upon in the Prose Edda, we are not given the idea that the gods are omnipotent, omnipresent, or omniscient, but rather that they are, in fact, limited. What do you think about the nature of the gods? How do you interpret these poems? Let us know in the comment section below. My name is Gavin. This is the Orthodox Heathen. Thank you so much for listening to us today, and we'll see you in our next video.